Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for August 5th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today is Kirsten. How you doing, Kirsten?
I'm doing well. Surprise, everyone. It's me on a Monday. You never saw this one coming.
They never would have. It's such a surprise.
Total
They're
blindside.
completely blindsided. The people are freaking out. They're wearing trash bags. It's a mess.
It's fine. I don't care about their approval anyways because they're going to be gone one day.
Yes, for sure. We are here to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 21 live feeds. It was day 47 in the house, and not too much going down here.
Yeah, not that much. Just some classic conversation. Post veto, pre veto ceremony, normal stuff.
Yes. Things are mostly the same here. It's a lot of continued drama between Nick and Jess and Kat for no reason.
Yeah, Nick is just like, he's doing so much. And I think probably somewhere in his head, he's like, well, Christy has been doing so much and it's working really well for her. So maybe I need to channel that energy. But it's just, he's not Christy. So.
Well, and Jess and Kat are also being absurd in this. Like, it's an absurd situation all around.
Yeah, it's like all of the playing dumb and not telling people things. It's like, really? Why are you doing this?
Yes. So that's the whole thing. That's most of the drama throughout the day,
Yeah.
to be honest. But we start the day with Cliff and Kat. Cliff lets Kat know that the other side is trying to convince him to take out Jackson. Jack and Tommy had been talking to him the night before. They're promising him safety. They're saying, what if there's a women's alliance? They're saying stuff like that. Kat says, I thought Jackson was a terrible guy, but it turns out he's actually a pretty good guy. Jack was always the bad guy. He was the one that was saying bad things about me.
Yeah, so Jack was the one who was always talking about Kat hooking up with Jackson the entire time. And when Jack tried to bring it up, Jackson shut it down. So it doesn't matter that, Jackson's clearly the one who told Jack about it. Jackson's innocent. Jack is the bad guy.
I've noticed something with Kat, which is that she's very off and on about whether or not she wants to work with Jackson. And when she wants to work with him, he's a real sweet guy with a great heart who's just a little aggressive sometimes. And when she doesn't want to work with him, he's a misogynist that's really aggressive toward women, and she feels unsafe.
Yeah, and she's playing the game.
It's wild swings there.
And that's everything with Kat though. Like at all times, you're never going to get a middle of the road answer unless she's clearly pretending she doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know about that. Hopefully they tell me soon. I don't know. It's she obviously knows. That's the only time you'll ever get anything that's not extreme from her, is when she's clearly lying to you.
Yeah. So in this conversation, they talk about next targets once Jack is gone. And Kat had previously been talking about targeting Tommy over Christy, but she, I guess, has decided now, maybe because of the conversation that Christy had with her about, well, if you don't do this, then I will for sure think that you know Holly and Jackson. She now wants to target Christy next. Christy is her next target. Cliff agrees Christy is the next to go, which means that everybody in the house, really everybody in the house except for Tommy, is targeting Christy now.
Which to me just means something is gonna go wrong.
She's gonna get voted into the field trip.
She's gonna win the safety. Yeah.
Yeah. But Christy and Sis are going to talk about Kat, and they're going to actually mention what I was just saying before, which is that Christy in particular is very annoyed with Kat, that she, that for her, in her opinion, if Kat votes to keep Jackson, Kat is her number one target, and Sis agrees. It's Kat. Kat is the one that they're going to target, not Jackson, because for Kat to keep Jackson after all of her talk about how he's disrespectful to women and that she feels unsafe and she's crying to Christy that she needs Jackson to go because of all these things, and now she's going to keep Jackson, like she just finds that to be ridiculous, and she thinks that Kat would be her target if she did that.
Yeah, well, they shared so many personal moments. They've confided in each other, and Christy's just gonna feel really betrayed and hurt the minute something doesn't go her way.
Yeah, she put her faith in Kat. She had a crush.
Yeah, you sometimes you have to just protect your heart. Don't chase the crush.
It's no good.
Might not work always in Big Brother to chase the crush.
So Kat would be their main target moving forward, but really all three of Jackson, Holly, and Kat are the big threats in the house if Jackson stays. They know each other, and so Kat would be the target, but then it would be Holly and Jackson if Kat goes. They want to pull Cliff onto their side. They feel like they need Cliff, that he's somebody that they can get. That's a narrative throughout the day. I queued this up yesterday because Tommy and Christy had talked about it late into the night, and we see more discussion on it throughout the day today. So that's going to be something that they're working on, not only to save Jack, but in the hopes that if Jack goes, maybe they can pull him in moving forward.
Yeah, and he will definitely want to work with them because they win competitions.
Oh yeah.
And Christy gets to determine in her mind who will and will not win competitions moving forward, so she can really determine, like, we're going to win them, so he'll definitely want to work with us.
We win competitions. Me, Sis hasn't won any. Tommy hasn't won any. But me wins competitions. And he doesn't want to work with the other side. They don't win competitions. I mean, think about it. Jess hasn't won anything. Holly hasn't won anything. Jackson hasn't won anything. Why would he want to work? Kat hasn't won anything. Why would he want to work with any of those people? They don't win competitions. We win competitions, like the one or two that I have won.
But Taran, they've already won the competitions they're going to win. They're not going to win anymore moving forward. You need to get on her level.
It's pretty bad, but she does make one good point though, and a reason that I do think Cliff should consider actually maybe working with them down the line, maybe real down the line, is that he can't work with a trio that knows each other, and that's one of the things that they're going to try to pitch to Cliff later on. They haven't pitched it to him quite yet, but they are pitching safety. Safety. We'll give you safety, Cliff.
I'm so worried. Like, the fact that they're going so, like, all in on this trio and they definitely know each other from before the game, like, don't they realize that has got to get people thinking, like, maybe other people know each other? Like, it truly doesn't make sense that there would just be, like, one group of people. I mean, it doesn't make sense that any of this is happening. But, like, to me, the minute I found out there was, like, anyone who knows each other, I'd be like, well, who else knows each other? Like, I don't have anyone who knows me. Like, but maybe someone else, like, and just kind of like look and see, like, who are these close bonds? Like, they would probably get it wrong and be like, it's Christy and Jack and Sis, but at least, like, try to think about it.
Cliff and Kat have joked about knowing each other for a long time, that secretly Cliff is Kat's father, but nobody really, they know it's a joke.
Yeah, but like they should be, like, seriously considering it for other people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they're right to be focusing on this because they understand more than anyone else in the house how dangerous it is that they know each other, and that with the knowledge that they know each other, I do think that somebody like Cliff would take a second thought and be like, maybe I need to reconsider my endgame plans if he is considering going to the end with enough of them intact that that could pose a threat to him. So something. Yeah, no,
I think it's the move to target them. I just think that they should be trying to find, like, another reason to convince people with. That's all.
Well, Nick is going to talk with Nicole. continuing to talk with Nicole. She is continuing to give him information and try to help him out when it comes to Jess and Kat. He is still just frustrated though. He's like, I'm with you guys. I kept trying to go back up to them and talk to them, but they won't talk to me. I'm trying to hang out with them more. I'm trying to tell them I'm a vote to evict Jack or whoever they want to be evicted here. But it's just not working, Nicole. Nicole's like, you gotta keep trying. You just gotta hang out with us. Like, you can make this work, Nick. It's not working.
Yeah, and he's bringing up like, well, yeah, I did tell the other side that if the Jack doesn't have the votes, I'll vote him out. Like, he's kind of trying to show his cards here, but Nicole's really the only one in the group who does like fully kind of believe what he's giving them right now. So
yes.
Probably should be trying to give this energy to the others as well.
Well, he says, well, look, here's the thing. I would love to work. I fully trust you, Nicole. You are my person. I also feel really good about Cliff. I'd love to work with you too. I mentioned yesterday, I felt like this season could end up going to a place where Nick, Nicole, and Cliff form some kind of trio, maybe bring in Tommy and Sis. And he actually mentions that. He says, I would love to work with you, Cliff, Tommy, Sis. I feel good about them too. Not Christy. Definitely not Christy. He kind of feels okay about Holly. He loves Kat. Oh, he forgot about Kat. He loves Kat. But then this whole situation is very weird, so like he's not sure about that. So he's trying to build some kind of like hybrid alliance that includes Tommy and Sis and Nicole and Cliff, which I do think is something that may end up happening down the road because of the fact that Holly, Kat, and Jackson are a very dangerous trio. But we'll have to wait and see on this one.
Yeah, and I feel like, yes, this is a move, but he should just be kind of planting seeds about it right now. Just kind of like, oh, yeah, like, I kind of trust Tommy a little bit. Like, maybe we should think about that. Not like, this is the group. This is what I want to do. This is everything that's happening. Like, let this week play out and just, like, be a little bit more subtle. Like, he's just sharing so much. And then he also just jumps into, what we need to do? We need to just say we knew it was going to be 4-4. So we just jumped on board.
Yes.
Which is like fine, but Nick needs to kind of commit to something because he is seeming really squirrely.
Yeah, his plan is to say, oh, it's say to the other side, like Tommy and Sis and Jack, like, oh man, it's gonna be a tie vote. It's going to be a tie vote. If Jess wants Jack gone, then it'll be a tie vote and the votes won't be there. So we got to protect our games. I mean, we might as well, we might as well just vote Jack out. That's his plan to sort of save face with them. And so he will be executing that plan throughout the day. Yeah. But first, he's going to go and talk with Kat in what was an incredibly uncomfortable conversation.
It's just dumb. It's just so dumb.
It is. It's like, first of all, because again, it's usually in conversations, it's like you're criticizing one person for making a bad move. But there's both sides of this need proper criticism here, because Nick is going to Kat and saying like, hey, I really want to hang out more often, like declaring his purpose instead of just actually hanging out more often with them, which is not gonna work. And he continues to, he's just like, hey, I really want to I want to let you know that I want to hang out with you more often. I miss you. And she's like, since when has this guy ever hung out with me? What are you talking about? And he's like, I want to vote. I want to vote Jack out, or whoever it is that you want voted out. Whatever Jess wants, that's what I want. And then he handles this very poorly. But then Kat handles it probably even worse, in my opinion, where she is, from her perspective now, just like, no, this guy gets nothing from me. I'm stonewalling him. Wait, what? Who are you voting out? Wait, you want? If you want to vote how Jess wants to vote, I think Jess wants people to vote their conscience. I think she just wants people to vote however they want. He's like, right, but like we can make a majority and vote in the majority. And Kat's like, majorities, I don't understand why you keep saying majority. I don't even know what that word is. What is majority? What are you talking about? Sides? I don't know what any of these things are, Nick. I'm not sure what you're. I mean, I don't. I think Jess wants people to vote how they want. I don't think Jess has decided. Jess hasn't told me who she wants to be voted out yet. So I'm just as confused as you. I'm waiting for Jess to let me know. Like, Nick knows. Nick was in the conversation where you made the plan to take Jack out. What are you talking about?
It's so uncomfortable. Like, just literally every single stage of it, you're just like sitting there and you're like, okay, but why did he say that? Why did she say that? And it just goes back. Like, you just sit there just like, I can't handle it. It's so uncomfortable. And it's like just a useless conversation because like they could have been building trust, but instead they did that.
Yeah, it's like Jess and Kat think that they're being like slick here, and that they're like, oh yeah, we're not gonna tell him, and then we're gonna find out where his loyalties really lie. And it's just like, no, you're just pushing him away and making him not trust you. That's all you're doing.
It's not like they're being so subtle and mysterious. Like, he's going to be able to tell where the votes are going, especially, since he was there when they made the plan. So he's going to vote correctly. Like,
yes.
It's not like they're going to trick him into voting Jackson out and be like, oh, ha, ha, we caught you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. It's a mess, but you know what? That's fine, because all the better for Nicole. If Nick's gonna make a target of himself, if Jess and Kat are gonna be big targets, then good for Nicole.
Yeah, insulate our girl Nicole, please. Continue.
All right. So Nick is then going to go to Tommy and Sis. Now, he has continued to be stonewalled, so he's going to go hang out with the other side more. And he tells them that if Jess wants Jack to go, it's going to be 4-4. He does his plan that he told Nicole. It's going to be 4-4, and therefore they might as well kind of just jump on board there. He's then going to leave. Christy's going to talk with Tommy and Sis as well. They make the plan. They want to try and convince Cliff that Kat and Holly know each other. They need to give him the information that never comes to fruition really throughout today on the feeds, but it is something to look forward to in the future, that they are going to continue to try to convince Cliff that this is a real thing. I do think this is important information for Cliff to know and believe in order for him to understand what he needs to do moving forward. So that's something that we definitely need to watch out for.
Yes, and they talk about how they need to, get Cliff by talking about loyalty and go back to that, because they do see Cliff as a man of his word. So they think that, oh yeah, loyalty is the way to go. But it's like, just like no one owes anything to anyone here. I don't think that's necessarily the right move.
Yes, and really, like, Cliff is the person that they feel like they can work with the most, because he's proven to be a man of his word. He's proven to be somebody who is willing to make deals, who is willing to be open to other ideas, and so that's why he is in that position right now.
Yes.
Just letting everyone know. Jess, Kat, Nicole, and Cliff are going to go in the HOH room and talk about Nick. Kat and Jess are going to be, trash talking him. Kat's just like, why is he coming up to me saying that he wants to hang out more? Like, excuse me, since when do we hang out? What is he talking about? What is he about? I was just, being really vague with him and like not letting, I was just like, oh, I don't know where Jess is going to go. We're going to find out where his true loyalties lie when the vote comes down. And Cliff comes up and he says that I had a weird conversation with Nick last night. Like, he was saying it doesn't matter which one of them goes. Like, I didn't really understand it. That was kind of sketchy to me. But Nicole sticks up for him. She says, no, look, guys, I think that I had a conversation with Nick. He wants Jack gone. He's just confused because you keep telling him that you don't know who you want gone. And I think that he's concerned that, like, he wishes he could hang out with us more, but we're always up in the HOH room and we're never downstairs like hanging out with people, and so he wants to try and hang out with us more, and so, like, I think that's the thing. And Kat is not really buying it. Jess is not really buying it. But Cliff is like, well, that makes sense, because I was really vague with Nick, so it makes sense that maybe he was a little worried and walked it back and was a little vague back to me. But Nicole continues to try to stick up for Nick. mostly to no avail here, but she's trying.
Yeah, she's trying, and it's also the thing too where they're being so anti-Nick that she can't really plant her flag here and be too assertive about it. She has to kind of be like, I don't know, like I have a gut feeling. This is what I think. She can't be like, no, like he's with us, and this is why, like because they could very well turn on her, and she has also had bad experiences when sharing information this season so far. Like she got burned, and it has made her more tentative.
Yes. Tommy is going to talk with Sis about what to do if Jack does, in fact, leave this week, which is starting to look more and more likely like he will, considering the information they're getting from Nick. Jess is later going to sort of, expand more on the fact that Jack is probably leaving. So they're really coming to terms with the fact that this is looking more and more likely, even though they are still holding out hope that there's a chance they can get him to stay. But so they're talking about, like, what do we do? What do we do if Jack leaves? Sis really doesn't have anyone because she doesn't trust Christy. She does trust Tommy, but if Jack leaves, she's lost Holly and Jackson. She has Tommy and maybe Nick is the person. So she's really like a little bit lost on where to go from here. Tommy says he wishes they could reel Jackson and Holly back in, but Sis correctly points out that Christy and Jackson just aren't going to be able to work together. So maybe we should just leave Christy out of it. Maybe we just leave Christy out. We reel Jackson and Holly in. Tommy says we can pull Nick in. Maybe we can get something working like that, but we would have to leave Christy out of it. And I do think Tommy is considering this.
Yeah, because Christy's emotional outbreaks have worked so far, but now that things are starting to crack apart, I think Tommy recognizes that he might need to cut her loose. He just needs to hide that he's involved in it from her. Like she cannot know. And Sis makes a good point of like, I don't think we could beat Christy at the end, which is fair because for some reason everybody loves her and goes along with her even when she's acting like a total lunatic.
Yes. So it's looking to me like Tommy is going to continue to distance himself from Christy, although he will obviously still work with her secretly for as long as she's in the house. He is maybe looking to try to reconnect with Holly and Jackson, but I think that's probably not in the cards. I think the Cliff route is probably the more likely one, especially with Nick attached. Nick can probably bring Cliff in, maybe Nicole as well. That would be my guess as to where they start to head once Jack goes. Hopefully they don't reconnect with Jackson and Holly. Luckily, there's a lot of animosity there. Tommy's later going to talk with Christy. He is on board with her that if Jackson stays, that Kat is the target and Holly would be the secondary target. They'd leave Jackson alone. So it's that animosity is what's keeping the house unstable right now, and so we're hoping it remains. So we'll see. Again, and it's not just the animosity; it's the fact that they know each other. They know each other. That's dangerous. So they can't really work with them, and that's something that I think that will prevent them from going there as well. So interesting dynamics here.
Yeah, I just would like another blow up like Thursday afternoon just to really solidify the divide even further.
Nick is going to talk with Sis as well. Nick says that, again, if Jess wants Jack out, it's going to be a tie. It's going to be a tie. But Sis says, no, I think we can maybe get Cliff. Don't you think? I think we can maybe get Cliff. Nick's like, no. Cliff's voting with them. We're not getting Cliff. Trust me. The votes are not there. And she's like, okay, if you say so. She doesn't believe him.
No, and she, she's going to have to overcome her fear and talk to Cliff herself later on.
Yeah. Nick talks with Jack and says as well, Nick tells Jack that Christy is being sketchy. Nick blames Christy for the whole situation of not being trusted by Jess and Kat. He says that Christy is the one that told Jess that Nick is definitely voting to keep Jack, and that's why he's not being trusted. And so he's really, really annoyed with Christy. He says that Jess was considering putting him on the block next to Jack because of Christy, which again is like a big tell that obviously Jack is the target here. And he says that Christy's the biggest threat in the house. Nick is gunning for Christy.
Yeah, everyone needs to be gunning for Christy. Literally everyone
is
is.
anti-Christy. Like everyone in the house is either gunning for Christy or wants Christy gone soon, except for Tommy and Christy.
Yeah. Which means that Christy is either going on the field trip and winning safety or winning HOH this week, just so everyone's aware. That's how this works.
Yeah. Nick is going to talk with Jess and Tommy as well. They're in the HOH room. There's a group of them up there. This is I think right before the episode came on. And it was more of like Nick trying to be like, I'll vote how you want. How do you want me to vote? And Jess being super vague. And Tommy was there this time, and Tommy is interjecting for some stuff. It starts to sort of like bubble up, and there's talk of like, let's go grab Christy and see what she has to say. Like, and things are looking like they're about to explode. And then the feeds. This might have been right after the episode, actually. The feeds cut for the freaking alien. It's annoying.
We hate this alien.
I'm sure it's gonna be funny on the show. Just like,
yeah, funny on the show.
Can't we just like wait a little bit?
There's I don't care about these punishments. There's too many of them.
There are a lot of them, and we're gonna get another one next week from the field trip.
Like there's just like, this is finally when we have, conflict. Things are changing. Everything is very fluid. And they're like, okay, let's put in a bunch of random segments for the show, such as this alien and his eggs or whatever.
Yeah. This has been happening all day. Just like every hour or two, the feeds will go down for like a half hour for the alien to come in and yell at people. Alan the alien.
It's a really creative and unique name.
Mm-hmm. So that was annoying. Yeah. Feeds come back. Christy is talking with Jess. She's crying a bit, saying that I don't know what happened, while the feeds were down. I think there was some kind of potential confrontation, maybe. But Christy is having a conversation with Jess. They're talking about, again, Jack leaving, and Christy's kind of like, oh, I'm willing to let Jack go. It's not what I want, but I'm willing to make it happen. And it's better for me if Jackson goes, but that's fine. And just again being very very passive aggressive and weird.
Yeah, she's like, I wouldn't even vote for Jack to stay if it would put you in the position of breaking a tie. I would never do that to you. Like, don't worry. And yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I believe, I think it was Nick in a later conversation with Jess is going to be like, oh, but Christy told you that she's voting to evict Jack, so we're totally fine anyway. And they were like, that wasn't like a real, like, she doesn't really want to vote to evict Jack though. Like, it's, yeah. So Nick is going to talk with Tommy and mention again this sort of hybrid group he wants to create with Tommy and Sis. In particular, he's really exposing his relationship with Nicole, which, again, he just talks too much here. He says he really trusts Nicole. He wants to bring Nicole in, Tommy and Sis. There are some other people maybe that he could bring in as well, but those are the people he wants to work with. But he does not trust Christy. He is scared of Christy, he says to Tommy. Christy's dangerous.
Well, and this is where you know that Tommy has been doing such great work, because every single person wants to get rid of Christy. And yes, they look at Tommy as someone to put up next to her to ensure she goes home. But people are not like, oh, we have to put them up together because they're so close.
Yeah.
It's just because they know no one would vote him out.
Yeah, and Tommy's taken a huge hit to his game, and he's certainly in danger in the next coming weeks. But thinking about like if Christy does go, because everyone is so laser focused on Christy, it's going to be Tommy and Sis left. and then there's still this huge, massive trio that knows each other in the house. Plus, Nick and everyone running around there. Like, I really feel like if they do not hone in on Tommy, and they almost shouldn't. He's almost again in a position where it's like they can't waste their energy on Tommy because they have to focus on Jackson, Holly, and Kat because they are very dangerous. If anything, I think they should be taking out Tommy before Christy, just because I think that he's much more likely to be able to blend back in with the crowd once Christy leaves, whereas Christy has been outed and I really don't see her ever making her way back in.
Well, and it's just like the Nick Bella situation all over, where there were people saying, no, we need to get rid of Nick first because Bella will always be a target. It's the same situation. Like, if they're really thinking, they'll say, we should get Tommy out first because it's not like we're going to forget about Christy. She'll still be there, whereas Tommy can fade back in. Also, I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat talking about, like, what do aliens have to do with summer camp? With space camp, guys. Space camp. That's why. Just, I know it makes total sense, but...
Yes. All right. Well, but Tommy is willing to jump ship here, and Tommy says to Nick, "Oh yeah, Christy, she's definitely dangerous. She's like Vanessa. She's using her emotions and crying her way out of situations, and she's very strategic. She's just like Vanessa."
Yeah, she can cry her way out of anything, and it's definitely purposeful.
Yes. So Sis is going to have her conversation with Cliff. She goes to Cliff and she says that, hey, I really appreciate you as a person. I definitely didn't say I effing hate you multiple times and that you're a schemer and make fun of the way you walk. I don't say any of those things.
Sorry, you missed when she like awkwardly came up and was like, can we talk in a few minutes? And Cliff is like, ugh, yeah.
This is how we do the game thing, right?
She's like, talking is part of Big Brother, I think.
I think, like, do we have to, like, do you have a calendar? Can I sign up for a time? Is there a procedure here?
Cliff, when are your office hours?
Yeah.
Can I stop by? I've got some questions about my grade.
Yeah. I'm really concerned that I'm failing Big Brother, and I'm hoping that maybe you can help me out.
Yeah.
I can offer you safety.
Yes, because she is in a situation where she can offer anything. Okay.
Yes, she says that she will promise him safety along with Jack if Jack stays. Jack has promised Cliff safety, so she will also promise Cliff safety. Cliff is like, oh, I really appreciate that. It's very generous of you. I'm very, very, very pleased to get that offer of safety. It means a lot.
He's like, yeah, I don't really know what the people upstairs are doing, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Like, I am a little bit worried about being a target. And she's like, no, like, we'll give you safety. Like, me and Jack, we're so powerful. We can protect you.
Cliff is playing like he is the sort of mercenary type. Like he is not hanging out upstairs as much. Really, again, I can't stress enough that upstairs, Jess does not leave the HOH room. Like, she's never outside of the HOH room, and Kat is there most of the time with Jess. Nicole is there for not as much time as Kat, but also a lot up there with Kat. It's Kat, Jess, and Nicole up in the HOH room at almost all times. Nicole comes down a little more often than Kat, but that's about it. And then Holly is up there a little bit less, but she's also up there most of the time. Holly is no longer socializing with the rest of the house either. And so it's those four really spending a lot of time up there, but really Jess and Kat very rarely coming down unless it's time to like sunbathe or whatever, which is like everybody goes out for that. But So, but Cliff has not been going on. Cliff goes up there occasionally to like have like, you know, intense conversations, and then he leaves again, and he goes back downstairs and he hangs out with other people or by himself. And so he is playing up that like, man, it's those women up there. They're the power in this house right now. I am just still a lone wolf here on my own, and I'm just waiting to see what they're doing. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my own game, and that's another one of the reasons why he seems like somebody that can be worked with moving forward in the house. So
yeah, he's just looking for a place to land still.
yes.
Weeks later.
So that's what Cliff is playing up, and he's like, you know, I'm waiting to see what they're doing. I'm not sure where this is going to go yet, so I can't give you a definitive answer. I'm not sure which way I'm going to vote, but I am my own vote, so we're going to figure it out. And
yeah. Sis is like, well, can you like let me know what you're going to do when you know? She's like trying to play the game, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so she says, okay, that's great. You know, Cliff, I really appreciate you and this, and she feels very good about this conversation. And, you know, even if we don't, you know, even if you don't end up keeping Jack, even if we go a different way, I hope that we can stay in communication moving forward, and I hope that we can work together moving forward. So this is a budding relationship potentially for Cliff, even if Jack goes. Again, you know, keeping track of the you know, where are Tommy and Sis going to go once Jack is gone. Certainly, you know, Christy's a little bit more isolated, but they have some options.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when Sam and Sis got closer last week. Like, it really doesn't take that much to make Sis feel very comfortable with you.
Exactly. And Cliff actually mentions that. He's like, you know, I appreciate you. Like, I know you had a relationship with Sam, and that means that you are willing to, you know, go out there and, you know, talk with people beyond just your immediate, you know, group and stuff. So, you know, I feel good about working with you, Sis. So Sis feels very good about this conversation. She immediately runs and shares it with Tommy and them, and like, oh,
yeah, immediately shares everything because that's what she does.
I think this is good. I think that people can I think we can work with Cliff. I think that maybe he will vote to keep Jack. You know, like I feel like this is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a flawless plan. It's definitely going to work out. And you know what? Sis did that.
Yes. Nick is going to talk with Sis some more about his hybrid group idea. Sis and Tommy, he says Nicole is somebody he really, really trusts. He says Nicole is the only one that didn't abandon him in his time of need. And Sis is like, hey, I would have been that person if you hadn't burned me. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I burned you. I'm sorry.
She just loves getting angry. She really is a gremlin.
Yes, but again, Nick is going to be pushing this, floating this idea out there with Sis. So again, pay attention to that. Jack and Sis are going to talk later in the night. They're still done with Christy. They're you know, Jack, if he stays, he would like to burn her. He would like to see her go. Sis feels the same way, that she doesn't want to work with Christy moving forward. So Christy really she's got no paddles, and she's really far down the creek.
Yeah, Jack is like, I would not be on the block right now if it were not for Christy. So here's what's going on, which, like, I don't know. I feel like he was the kind of person who probably always would have ended up in these kinds of situations at around this point in the game. But yeah, the Christy situation did not help.
Certainly did not help. Yeah, that was not. I mean, really, Jack should be blaming himself, and he is to a degree. But he should not have ratted Jackson out. First of all, he like, we talked about this last week on the roundtable. I'm sure we'll talk about it tonight when we do it again. That Jack was in a great spot. He didn't put himself there, but he was in a great spot. He was in the middle of the 6-shooters, and instead of keeping information to himself from both sides and maintaining his position in the middle, he relayed it to the other side to continue to give them power, and that's why he's in the position that he's in. He recognizes that to a degree, but he blames Christy for being the instigator here, which is also a little bit fair, I think.
Well, and how dare he blame Christy, because she was forced into a 6 with 2 couples. Okay, she didn't choose this; she was forced into it.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Like, what a horrible situation for her.
Jess is going to continue to talk late into the night about Nick and how, you know what? I don't care if we have his vote. We have 4. That's all we need. We don't need Nick. He can vote however he wants, and we'll see where his loyalties lie.
And again, as I said earlier, Nick knows where the votes are going. He's going to vote correctly. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know.
All right. Well, that's really, again, not a ton actually happening. Just a lot of like Nick drama, a lot of setup for future weeks here. Jack continuing to be the target here, continuing to be the one that's going to leave. We're going to see the veto ceremony take place today on, not on the feeds, but in the house. And then, it shouldn't be used. So there shouldn't be any funny business here. Jess had talked about putting Nick on the block, and maybe there were some moments where she got a little more excited about doing that even just yesterday, but very doubtful that it will actually happen. It will see Jackson and Jack on the block, and we will likely see Jack go home on Thursday. So that's what we got.
Yes. There were some other moments yesterday that are not really game related, but I feel like we need to talk about them.
Okay, sounds good.
First and foremost, Jack told Kat that the most freeing thing that has ever happened to him is when he decided he did not need his parents' approval. He loves them, he's close with them, but at the end of the day, they're going to be gone one day. So who cares what they think?
Yeah, this is a strange conversation because and this is perfect like representation of like Jack, because he seems like a normal charming guy if you just take out snippets, right? And then it's like if you see the other parts, it's like, whoa. And so when he's saying like, oh, when I realized I don't need my parents' approval, like that's when I was really able to like be myself and do things that meant the most for me. Like I'm with you. I agree. I think that's totally.
And Kat too is like, oh yeah, and like tries to say something. He immediately talks over her and is like, because they're gonna be gone one day. And she's like, that's kind of effed up. Like just straight to his face.
Yeah, he finishes it with because they're gonna be gone. Like, wait a minute.
Okay, and so like I have something that Jack. This all makes total sense of Jack and why he's so horrible, because everyone is going to die one day. So he doesn't have to care about anybody's approval.
Yeah.
So that's why he just has license to do whatever he wants.
It was a weird way of saying it.
It's just so weird. And of course he goes to like the death place because it's Jack.
Yeah, exactly. Continuing with the death analogies. Kat was really offended by this, and later,
what?
Not only to his face, but later is going to complain about it to I don't remember who she was talking to.
She told Holly about it, and there's a screen cap of Holly reacting to like hearing what Jack had said, and it's like she also truly looks just completely horrified. Like it's just like.
She took it as like a personal affront to her, that he was trying to like offend her because she had just been talking about her own parents. And so, and of course, as she tells it to Holly, like they are both like very parent focused, and Holly loves her parents in Wyoming and everything. So Holly is like completely affronted, like, oh, how could he say that about his parents? Oh my God.
Which like,
very funny.
It's a fair point. Like that was messed up. He also had a conversation with Jack. So just not with Jack. Jack had a conversation with Nick, where just so you know that romance is not dead. He says, if I have one exiting request, better send that be to me next, because he wants to have fun times with Annalise in jury.
Yes,
love is alive.
You're right. I did see that tweet, and I didn't go and listen myself. I don't know if you heard it yourself.
I saw a clip. He's like, if I'm one
Oh, you saw
extra
the clip?
request. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because sometimes people like when it's really that bad, like sometimes it's made up, and so I need to make sure I go and check myself. But yeah,
I think it was real. Now I'm doubting myself.
because that was I'm gonna check on that one. And
Yeah, if I was lying to you guys, I'm sorry. I must have put it in my own head if it was not, but sometimes that happens with updates.
I definitely saw the tweet. So it was definitely out there. I'll try and look it up and confirm for the roundtable tonight.
Yes. And then I did not see this part, but apparently Christy was talking about how much it sucks that evil is going to prevail.
Oh yeah.
Was that real?
Oh yeah. They've been talking about that. The good guys are losing. Christy is like, please, America, I hope you're voting for a power so you'll give one to Tommy. I hope.
Well, America's voting, and
I'm seeing people in the chat say they watched it and it was in fact a real quote.
Okay,
so yeah, apparently Jack actually said that, which is just oh my god.
It's, you know what? And they say chivalry is dead.
They say it. Wow. So there was another comment actually that I caught from Nick. We talked yesterday and last night about Nick's wandering foot.
Yeah.
He was talking to Tommy and Christy, and he was saying, there was also a moment in the episode last night where he said, "Oh, Tommy's looking hot in that poster," and
it was, the poster was like about cowboy camp, and it was like Ride the Stallion or something like that.
So Nick said last night to Tommy with Christy there in the kitchen, he was like, "Tommy, you're an attractive guy. You know, if I could, you'd be the guy that I wanted to do it with. If I was a guy that liked guys, you're my guy."
Yeah, so good to know about that. And then there's also like Nick, Sis, and Jack were all talking in the boat room, and then Nick and Sis were just like fully playing footsie in front of Jack. It was weird.
Yeah, there was also more. I mean, in that conversation where Jack was talking about send Sis to me, I like Nick was talking about like Nick is like he's just. What's the word I'm looking for here? He's like just shot straight at. It's like Cupid shot into him multiple times.
Oh no. I think for anyone who watches Love Island, he would say he's Apple. So
I don't know what that means. He's just real into a lot of people.
Yeah, that's it's definitely the case.
He likes flirting.
I wonder if he's a Scorpio. Would explain a lot.
All right. So there you go. That's where we have.
Okay. So yeah, that's actually everything.
Yes. But man, I'm real worried about this field trip with the way that it was worded last night on the show.
It's, like the way they're doing, it's just so dumb that they're like, so will you vote in who you like or who you don't like? It's like, why are you giving us something where it makes it a conflict? Just let us vote who we don't like or let us vote who we like. Don't get the wires crossed. I'm so worried about Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
she keeps having good moments on the show, and it's concerning to me.
Well, yeah, and especially like with Jack going, like I'm stressed.
Yeah. But I don't know. There you go. Let's just watch out. Again, I would vote for everyone.
Yeah, at this point, honestly, guys, I saw a poll online that was showing like how the top was going. At this point, throw your votes on Holly and Sis.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get bumped up into those like third, like fourth, fifth places.
I'm seeing polls where Nicole is like number 5.
Yeah, so we need to get her bumped down, and there's some where Cliff is number 4 as well. Like it looks like Cliff and Nicole in that spot.
Yeah,
and like we don't want that.
And that's online. Those are the people that know the best. Like
yeah, like
that's dangerous.
Yeah. So guys, I hate having a campaign for an online vote here, but like we need to protect Cliff and Nicole. We need to be voting for Holly and Sis at this point. I think Jack and Jackson will have enough votes. Jack's going to go home anyways. I think Christy will probably have votes. Tommy should be good. Holly and Sis are the people who are most likely to get left behind. Vote for them.
Yeah.
I mean, vote how you want, but like, come on.
assuming that you are like us and you love Nicole.
If you love Nicole and Cliff, vote for Holly and Sis.
Yes. Otherwise, feel free to do whatever you want. Live your own life. All right, that's what we have for you. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. We have some fun on there. We do fun things like party when Jess wins vetoes. And you can find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran. Kirsten, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kirsten Said What. And please listen to the Love Island wrap-ups. Love Island got renewed for season 2, so
yes,
keep watching, keep listening.
Will Winston get a second chance at love?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think Caitlin's gonna help him out with
Cliff.
that. It's like, I don't know. No one's told me yet, so I'm sure they'll tell me eventually how it's gonna go.
Yes. Of course, make sure you check out on Twitter. I will be tweeting out the survey for tonight's roundtable. Tune in tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we will talk about the whole week in its entirety and what's been happening on the live feeds. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. You can rate the players. I think there's going to be a lot of changes to the ratings. I think that there are going to be, you can rate the episodes and the feeds and the show overall this week. So I'm really excited to see the results of all of that. Make sure you check it out at Armstrong Taran on Twitter. Find it there. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next time.